listening to KCYP 97.7 The City. This is Scarlett Rose, and you're now listening to RGV Rocks. Thank you for the intro, Audex. Just a reminder, you're listening to KCYP 97.7 FMLP The City. This is Scarlett Rose along with my co-host.
Rock and Rudy.
Thank you. And we are listening to RGV Rocks, KCYP 97.7 FMLP The City. It's a nonprofit organization that promotes local artists such as myself and is the home of indie music. We are now accepting donations through our website, www.thecity977.com, and as well as sponsorships to keep this radio station thriving. For more information on paying donations, sponsorships, or business advertisement, feel free to contact Joe Martinez at 956-789-0702 or by email at martinezjoe@hotmail.com. I'll also be leaving the donation links in the description below for the station if you want to donate, or if you are interested in becoming our sponsor, just be sure to contact Joe Martinez. To the people that don't know who we are or what we do, RGV Rocks is a radio show and now an online podcast dedicated to the local talent events and all the wonderful people in the RGV, such as you and I. Rudy, do you want to give a very special introduction to our very special guest for today?
But of course I do. I want you all out there in the RGV land, listening to our station, watching our podcast, to see this awesome person right in front of us with his beautiful face there. He's got that Santa Claus mixed reindeer look, but it's all right. It's all good. The one and only, the man himself, Mr. Tony Forina. Woo!
Hey, Rudy, good morning. Scarlett,
Tony.
thanks so much for having me today. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much for being here with us.
It's
So,
my
Mr.
pleasure. It's my pleasure.
I thank you for that. I've known Mr. Forina about 20 years now. We go back way back. He's a very good close friend of ours. He is a well-known, respected man, of course, in the community. And he is, in case you don't know, he's the man behind, the big man behind the little mic for the UTRGV PA announcements for all their sports events. He even the announcer for the RGV Vipers. Is that correct, Tony?
Yeah, I've been getting a little bit more involved with them this season, so it's been a good run.
Tell us about that excitement. How'd you get started in that?
Well, you know, I like to think that my PA career started back when I was 18 years old in the big city of Alamo, and we were hosting a Little League baseball tournament. And I said, you know, that's something that I want to do and I want to incorporate. And well, I knew the tournament director because he was my brother. And I said, hey, listen, I want to be the PA guy. And he said, no, we already got a guy and he's going to do it for us. And I said, look, just give me a shot. Let me have an opportunity. And he said, no, you know, and I really bugged him enough to the point where he said, I'll let you announce the snack shop in between games. I said, perfect. You know, you get your shot, you run with it. And I sold out the snack shop in between games. You know, I guess it was a hot day and everybody needed a cold beverage or a snack. And from then on, the next day, I became the PA guy for the Little League Baseball, charging a hot dog and a Coke per game, which now shows my figure. And actually, you know, that's where it all started for me. And, you know, years later, that I started with UTPA back in '92 as their PA guy. And as sports team, I've come along from the Rio Grande Valley Vipers to the Edinburgh Roadrunners, to, you know, the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees, the RGV Dorados. They come to me and they ask me to help them out. And, you know, it's been a pleasure for me to be a part of the sports world here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Wow, that is too cool. You see that? Some history and nostalgia right there, as you can see. Not only did it take a hot dog and a pop to get him going, but look at him now today. Now, I do also understand that that's not the only thing you do. What else do you do, Mr. Forina?
Well, my day job, I am the field operations director for Commissioner Eli Torres at Hidalgo County Precinct 4. So that's where you're going to find me from, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., depending on the days where I'm needed, what I've got to do. And then at night, you know, I do volunteer work with the McAllen Independent School District as I'm a sitting trustee, place 4 for the school board. So, you know, between announcements and work and the school stuff, I've been very fortunate and kept pretty busy.
Wow, that's so cool. And and not only that, to add to the bunch, He is also a father of four and a very loving husband, because I also know his wife very well too. We went to school together. He is just tremendously a great guy. I mean, you are a very humble person there, Mr. Forina, and you've been blessed. You've been blessed tremendously. I know two of your kids out of the four that you have, which
Right.
is your daughter and your oldest son. Your daughter, the one that was working at HEB, as a matter of fact, there in McAllen. I
Still
think she
there,
was
brother.
there.
Still there.
She's still there. All right, all right. And I know, from what I do understand, your wife retired from HEB. Is that correct?
Not yet. Now I won't let her
Not yet.
retire
Okay.
because that means that the insurance will go away. But she's a
Oh
30-year
no.
partner. She's a 30-year partner with HEB. So we're very blessed. They're a great company. They take great care of their employees, and she's doing a great job for them there. So, but no, she's not going to retire. I've told her too many times that even if we hit the lotto and we've got funds for days, she's still going to work because she's got a great insurance policy there with HEB.
All right, well then let's get the questions going here, Miss Scarlett Rose.
Of course. Since you are new to our show, like I think the past two other interviewees too, we usually ask this number one question that we've asked on our show for the past couple of years, and that is, what do you like about the RGV and why?
Whew, that's a good question. I love the RGV in itself because when I was 18, it was my every intention to leave, to get out, to go, and not look back. Now that I'm close to turning 50, I'll tell you that this has been a great place to raise my family. It's been a great place to be involved with the community. And I always encourage people to get involved so that they know exactly what's happening, what the in and outs are. Family wise, like Rudy said, he met my kids working at HEB, and that's something where you meet everybody here, and everybody tends to know each other. So it's kind of like we have eyes and ears everywhere. As I like to tell my kids, I said, listen, wherever you go, I know somebody there, and the kids are like, Dad, you're exaggerating, but they'll have people that'll recognize them and say, hey, you're Tony's kid, right? And they're like, oh, geez, how do you know my dad? Is it through his games? Is it through radio? Is it through, the school board stuff? How is it that you know my dad? So, for me, that's an extra layer of protection because we all cover each other here. And it's always good to have the kids, in a place where they feel safe and secure. And this has been a great place. And, as many times as I've said, I'm out, I'm leaving, this place is nothing to me. It is everything to me because this is a very special spot. And you know what? People are seeing that, and people are starting to realize that the Rio Grande Valley is a place where they want to be at and where they want to be seen. So we look forward to its continued growth.
That's really good.
Wow, good
Oh my
answer.
God.
That was real good. Yeah, but I especially I like the part where you said you wanted to leave and not come back or anything like that. But I have seen so many Valley people leave the Valley and then come back because they missed the Valley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's, I can't tell you the amount of people that leave and, then they're like, hey, I'm stuck up here. I've got this job that I can't leave, but I'm not real happy. And, I don't know anybody. And you just kind of wish that, people could come back and do what makes them happy. And that's something that we can do down here in the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You said you work for Miss Ellie Torres there. How's that been for you? I know that's been a great success so far.
It's been very good. It's, I am very much a humble servant. We're here to serve the man upstairs, and we try to live his will. And when Commissioner reached out to me back in 2019 and said, if I win this election, I'd like to have you come on board and lead my field operations guys. I didn't think twice about it because it's a position in which I can help give back to our community. Whether it's through road and bridge, whether it's through sanitation, Parks League, whether it's through drainage, you really have an understanding of the inner workings of what's happening with the county and specifically our precinct. There's a lot of guys from Mission or from South McAllen or from Weslaco that work with us in the precinct. I live in the precinct. So to me, I want to see it grow because I think Hidalgo County right now is the 7th largest county out of the 254 in the state of Texas. But I think if we work together and we all get past that Friday night football vision, hey, you know what? My city and my school is better than your city and your school. But you know what? If we all work together, though, we can raise the entire community. And that's eventually what I want to see happen. I want to see us all, the entire Rio Grande Valley, go up and raise the ranks and show why it is that this is the best place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, nice, real good. I like that. I remember you had said that back in radio. You remember when you started on that?
November 21st of 1991 was my first broadcast. And it was on what is now Wild 104. Back then it was B104, all hit music and more. And I still actually have the cassette air check from that first night on the air. When we all talk like this and we're talking, yeah, this is my radio voice and I want to do this and I want to do that and join us. And, you know, it was a great run for me. I did 20 years in radio, working multiple formats. I started off at B104. I jumped across the street to Que Pasa 99.5, and I did Tejano music for about 2 years. I got out for a while, and K-Frog came looking for me, and then I was back on at nights at K-Frog, and that eventually flipped to the Q, and I worked at the Q for a while. I went back to B104, this time not as on air, but doing promotions for them as a promotions director. Then they transitioned me back onto the air as their morning show co-host. And from there, I ended up at our communications, working with Digital 101.5. I had my own sports talk show. So I've covered the gambit, brother. You name a spot in radio, and I'll probably have worked it or you know, been somewhere around it.
There you go. Look at that. Man of experience, I'm telling you. Now, my thing is, it's exciting when I go to a Vipers game and I see you out there. Well, I really can't see you because you're up in the press box, but you're talking and stuff. But I can hear your voice, and of course, a very distinct voice, very recognizable. I mean, doing that announcement for the Vipers, how was that to be for you, and how was it, and how do you like it? You know?
Oh, it's great. I love it. As you know, just this past couple of weeks back, the Vipers won their 4th G League championship. I was there for the first 2, missed out on number 3, and actually helped out a couple of times this season for number 4. So it's great. And to see these talented group of individuals that come together and play as a team and a cohesive unit to beat guys that, you know, would never know of the Rio Grande Valley, would never know of Edinburgh, would never know of South Texas, to have them come down and represent us like that. It's been a big treat. And, you know, there's 3 former head coaches that are actually head coaches in the NBA right now. Nick Nurse is one of the coaches. Chris Finch is the 3rd coach, and Joseph Blair is coaching in the NBA. And to be honest with you, I don't see our current coach, Mahmoud Abdel Fattah. I don't think he's going to last much longer down here before the NBA comes and swoops him up, which is exactly what we want for the NBA to do, is to use this league to develop the future talent and then put them up on the main stage. So I look forward to their success.
There you go. Good. That's basically what we do here at RGV Rocks. What we do is we do a lot of Valley talents. You know, whatever it is that you do that's a talent, we like to get you on our air and our podcast and show everybody your talent and what you do and who you do. And this is a good example right here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Mr. Tony Forina, man, he's a mastermind right there, and he's got it well-rounded, and he's well humbled, and he's basically just loving his life and living his dream, I would say.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm loving life and living the dream.
There it is. Miss Scarlett Rose, you got more questions for Forina?
Actually, I have a question referring to how you got involved, especially with like the county. Did you ever see yourself going from like radio to what you do now?
I saw myself transitioning out of radio, and because when I got in, radio was mom and pop stores owned it, and mom and pop families owned it. And back in 92, you could really see the rise of the corporations. And when the corporations started getting involved, they started initiating a lot of the technology that we see now, in which you could have one local talent and they could be farmed out to 10 different markets. And I realized, you know what, as good as I believe I am, I don't think that corporate radio would allow me that opportunity. So I was always looking for my next step. Did I know that it would be as a public servant? I hoped it would, because I've always had, you know, elected dreams, you know, of being elected somewhere. I've been very blessed to be elected twice to the McAllen School Board. And it's one of those things where I just want to serve the public and serve the people that I grew up with and their families, and the people that, you know, have seen this place go up. So I didn't think it would be in a county role. But, you know, when there's an opportunity, I'm there to jump for it and say, you know, okay, what's going on and what can we do in order to grow our base here. So it's been something that was in the back of my mind, but I wouldn't be able to tell you this is something I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, nice.
Going into what's it called? How you volunteer for the school board as well. I was going to ask, since you are a father of 4, how does it feel knowing that you have that responsibility as a father and then you can actually advocate for your kids?
You know, my mom was a teacher for over 25 years, and she had 4 children, but she had a lot of kids. And that's how I look at it. I have 4 children, but I advocate for the 19,000 kids. I advocate for the 3,000 teachers that we have, for the 3,000 administration staff that we have at McAllen ISD. I really keep my ear to the ground and see what can we do to make things better. How can we improve on where we're excelling already? And what is an issue that's preventing us from being better? So for me, it's about making sure that, you know, we give them every possible best chance to win the fight. And the fight obviously is education, because that's the great equalizer. You know, that puts everybody on the same playing field. And then from once you have a solid educational base, you're really able to accomplish whatever it is you set out for it. It may not be at the level that you want, but you're going to do something right and you're going to do something positive with it.
Mm-hmm. For people that don't know about this, actually, I used to go to McAllen ISD because I switched over. I used to live in McAllen, so I was like, oh my gosh. I'm thinking back to my roots right now.
Well, that would be all of us, because I graduated from Mackay.
Yeah, you're from Mackay, right?
Yeah, I'm from Mackay, you know, so I think your mom was too, right?
I graduated from PSJA. So for me, you know, it was one of those things when I ran for office, a lot of the naysayers were just saying he's a kid from Alamo that doesn't have a clue. Well, you know, we've managed to prove the point that I have a little bit more knowledge than a lot of people think I do.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Yeah.
I want to let everybody know real quick. I know that you're looking at Tony right now, that every now and then it switches over to a picture where he looks a lot younger, clean cut, shaved, and everything like that. It's just a little posting, I guess, on his site for the internet. But don't freak out. That's a picture taken a while back. You know, this is the way Tony looks like now. Check him out. I think you've improved a lot, Tony. I want to say very much that you brought the sports world of the PA system, why should I say, into very, very perspective, because you've been doing this for a long time. You've been announcing, you know, like you said, it was started out with Pan Am back in the day, and then you went to RGV, and then you had mentioned that you were with B104 back in the day, and I actually did my internship in '85 with the Mad Mexican there at B104.
Wow!
Right there in Edinburgh, right across the street, the courthouse.
Yep.
Way back in the day, that little small, was it University Drive? It was just a 2-lane street back then, going and coming, and that was it. So
yes, I remember those days, brother. I remember those days vividly.
Yeah, there you go. So it's just good times and a lot of great stuff happening, and you're just making a lot of great steps forward and everything. And I like how the way, you know, you're advocating for all these people that are under you or that help you out, or you helping them out, should I say. Miss Scarlett Rose, I know you got something to say because I can see you jumping over
Yeah,
there.
I know. I know you talked about how your what's it called? Your kids get noticed, but do you ever get noticed like on a daily?
Sometimes I do have because of my involvement in sports, I do have a lot of dads that are like, oh my gosh, it's you. And I'm just kind of like, it's me. And they'll turn to their child and say, he was on the radio. And I keep trying to say, I haven't been on the radio in 10 years, you know. But you were, and you know, this is before the kid was born. So the dads, you know, they kind of get real excited to see me, and the kids are just like, who are you? You know, and it's one of those things. But I enjoy it, man. I love the opportunity to shake hands and meet people and meet new people, and to be able to, you know, some of these kids, they don't know how cool their parents were. I look back at some of these kids and their parents, and I'm like, did you know that your dad, you know, I've seen your dad, I've seen your mom do this, and the kids just never realized that, wow, my parents actually did that. They were very cool, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I've had.
I do get recognized every now and then.
I was gonna say, yeah, I've had people come up to me and they say, "How I remember you, Q94.5, right?" No, that's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. No.
You know,
But being on the air, I mean, it's got its perks, of course, right? Its ups and downs and everything. I just kind of think it really stinks and sucks that when a company buys out a company, they just cut everybody out and then bring in their people, and then they bring you back again, you know. But it's just a transition that we got to go through. That's the radio life. But now you got your feet planted, you're set, you're good. You know, you've been blessed. Like I said, Tony, you've been blessed. You and your family, everybody's been real good. Everybody's doing good. Um, if you were to run into yourself back then when you were younger today, what would you tell yourself?
Keep going to school, get that education. I found money very quickly in radio and realized, hey, you know what? I don't need to get a degree. Look how successful I am now, making $24,000 a year being a nighttime fly guy on a Tejano station. No, you need to get that education, get that paperwork, and get that paperwork in whatever it is that you want to do, and then do whatever makes you happy. One of my closest friends, he has a degree in marine biology.
Oh my God.
And you kind of sit back and you're like, you have a degree in marine biology, but you're doing sales. And he goes, yeah, well, you know, there wasn't many opportunities for marine biologists, but everybody's looking for a good sales guy, and he's made quite a good living for himself. So that's the thing, you know, you set your bar. You're going to decide how far you can go, but having that paper is going to open the door, and it's going to clear some brush and clear the path for you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Good way to go there. I like that. That was awesome. Miss Scarlett Rose, you got anything else?
One more question before we end our interview. I know that Rudy's been like throwing around like here and there, like saying like, oh, you're the guy that actually started I think the Q, because that you were locked in for like 24 hours.
Right.
You wanna clear up on that?
Then my bubble got burst.
We were talking about this
like
before.
Well, let me clarify. I wasn't the guy that locked myself in the studios. That was another gentleman by the name of Gunner, and it was Halloween night. I was actually on the air at K-Frog, the competing station, when my request line started blowing up about people that were saying, you know, this is happening, it's great. The Frog finally beat K-Tex, and you know, anybody that knows radio, you know, K-Tex has been there forever and a day. It was, you know, one of the longest tenured radio stations, still to the point a big market leader right now. And K-Frog was a young startup buck that was just there to try to knock off the champ. And when they switched the format to go into rock and roll, I kind of sat back and I said, this is a publicity stunt. We've seen it before. You know, there's ways to turn off a radio station from outside the building. And that's one of the things that I learned. So when actually fellow employees started calling me and they were congratulating, I said, don't. I said, you know, if they really wanted to stop this, you just turn off the antenna and that station's off the air, and then you can do whatever you need to get this crazy individual that's locked himself in, and you take him out of the DJ booth. So that was a publicity stunt. what it did lead to was the eventual flip of K-Frog to what it is now, Q94.5. And you know, that was an interesting transition because I was doing nights on K-Frog, and then they decided they were going to flip and they were going to make me the morning guy. But for the first week, we didn't crack open a microphone. All we did was play Led Zeppelin's Been a Long Time. You know, so a lot of people just heard that same song, and it was just continuous, and it was on loop. And we just kind of said, how long do we have to sit here and just play this one song? And the program director said, we're doing it for the whole week. So once they finally said, okay, we're going to switch, and we're going to add the rest of the music, and we're going to add our jocks in, I got the ability to go on the air. And, you know, at the time, I wasn't a morning guy. I'm not going to lie. I you know, had a problem waking up early. I've always been chipper. I've always been the happy-go-lucky fat guy, but you know, it just didn't work out for me because I wasn't connecting. So they asked me if I would, you know, have a problem stepping back and going back to nights on the queue, and I had no problem with that. I said, you know what, if you're going to bring somebody more experienced, somebody that can help us out, I'm all about the team, and I'll make that step. So I ended up dropping back and you know, going back into nights, which was great for me because it was a place where I was comfortable and I was happy and I knew what I was doing, and it worked out well. And you know, when the time came that it's actually the 25th this coming month, it'll be 25 years that I left the queue.
Wow.
You know, we had some issues. We had some personnel and human resource issues, and I just told them, you know what, you don't need me, and I walked out. I did manage to go back for a week before they fired me again. So it's just been, you know, the only consistent thing in radio is its inconsistency. And that's been something that I've learned to focus on everything that I do in life. The only consistent thing is its inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah,
have
with
one
radio life,
thing.
that's what it is. You never know when you're gonna cover go in radio life, you know?
Oh
One day-
yeah, you never.
One day you're on top of the world, and the next day you're out of it.
I have
No
one thing
joke.
to say about that.
The last month of B104, I was named Employee of the Year. I was named Street Person of the Year, and that we did all that at the Christmas party, and yeah. And January 15th, I was fired. So,
Oh my gosh.
you know, it's just the way it works. And to me, that termination was one of the best ones that I've ever gone through, because I really wasn't happy at my job. I wasn't. It wasn't fulfilling for me, and I knew that I had a contract that was going to last through September. So when they said, listen, we're going to separate, we're going to break away from you, to me it was like, oh man, I don't have to break my contract, I'll be good. I got paid all the way through September and January. I just had to sit out of radio for 60 days, and I did that, and it was a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. I have one thing to say about that. Wouldn't it kill you to have like the same song playing over and over again for like a straight week? How did you not
It
go
was
insane?
I left the control room quite a few times. I left the control room.
It was looping anyways, right? So it would be okay, right?
No, that was still in the era of discs. So we had to go from CD1 to CD2. Yeah.
I see. That's right. Hey, so when you hear that song today, does it bring back memories?
It does. It brings back great memories, man. The Valley had been without a rock station for so long that, I mean, we were embraced. Everybody came up and they loved it. You know, you had your haters. You had the folks that'd be like, okay, enough with the Led Zeppelin song. But there was people that were just ecstatic at the fact that there was something new to listen to in the market.
Something different.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Miss Scarlett Rose, do we have anything else before we do end this?
Not that I can think of, but do you have any shout outs that you want to say?
Man, to you guys, I don't know how I got so lucky to be on the show. It was, you know, it's been a good run for me, and I'm always there to help out. And you know, if radio were ever to come back into my life, I now have a guarded view, but you know, there's people that have no idea that I have a radio past, and there's people that, you know, just try to figure out whatever happened to that guy, so they don't know. So for you guys to give me this opportunity to showcase myself and to go about it. I'm greatly appreciative. I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Of course.
We thank you very much for it, Tony. I mean, I've been trying to get this man on our show since a couple of years back, actually. And then
it's been a while.
And then we were getting closer and closer. And then yesterday was Easter. So happy belated Easter to all you guys and everything like that. And how my grandma would say, "Happy huevito de mijo." Okay, thank you.
Oh my God.
You know. Mr. Forina, always a pleasure to see you and your family, and you guys, you're doing just a tremendously great job. You actually do a tremendously great job, no matter what you do and what you're doing. And you're most, thank you, God, for putting you here with us as well, and us reuniting again. I hadn't talked to you so long, only on the phone.
Yeah, brother.
And now finally get to see you, not face to face, but almost, if you will. Mm-hmm. And looking good like always. You got that awesome, like I said, rainbows, reindeer Santa Claus look there. That's what I'm trying to get right there, Destiny. That's why a lot of my enemies, I always got this. But it's always a pleasure to see you. And I know that if you do decide to go back into radio life again, which I kind of think you might, you never know, because I mean, the voice you had,
I'd have to find somebody that'd be willing to take me in my bags with me. So we'll see how that works.
There you go. Next time we do an interview again, we'll get into more of the craziness that you used to back in the day. Because I mean, I know right now you're working for a public official there and everything. We go shout out to Miss Ellie Torres too. Mr. Forina, you want to shout out anybody else?
Man, I appreciate, guys. I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to when you guys need to fill a spot again. You give me a call. I'll be there for you. And we'll talk about the spring break stories and all that stuff.
Oh
there you go. That's what I wanted to hear. I want to send out a big old shout out to Mr. Forina and all his family as well also. And thank you, Tony, for finally allowing us to get you on the air with us and everything. We really appreciate you. And I want to thank also my co-host over here. Big old shout out to Miss Scarlett Rose. She had to put on her pretty face, she said, for this show. Oh so there you go. She got a pretty face on. Look at her blushing now. I can see those cheeks turn red. And a big old shout out to my two beautiful girls, Drenna and Darlene, which are both doing very well. Thank you very much. And my grandson, Carson. I love you, little boy. And shout out to all you beautiful people listening to RGV Rocks. We thank you very much. Miss Scarlett Rose.
Of course, I would like to send a shout out to everyone listening to the station, of course, and as well as Tony Forina. Thank you so much for joining us here on our show, especially my co-host Rudy. I haven't given you a shout out in so long because we've been cutting it short for the whole year. I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally have time to shout out people. But if you guys want to learn more about what we do on our station or even like on our show, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook and Instagram is just RGV Rocks and Twitter is Rocks RGV. Once again, Facebook and Instagram is just RGV Rocks and Twitter is Rocks RGV. Thank you so much for joining us here on our humble little show. We'll be here next time on KCYP 97.7 FM LP, The City. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks so much.